Hi Virgo, welcome to your weekly reading. I am really looking forward to this reading. As a matter of fact, I felt this impulse to sit down and do the reading. It was like I was being guided to do this. And after looking at all the cards that are here, I can see why. And believe me, you will learn soon enough. But before I begin, I want to thank everyone who is following me and are subscribing to my channel. And if this is your first time, welcome. I hope that all together we can spend this little time enjoying all of these messages that we're receiving from the universe. So welcome. And I encourage you to continue to support my channel. All right? I will leave information below the video for those of you who feel interested to connect with me and have a personal reading. You know, I charge $1 a minute, okay? So it's simple. I prefer to do videos. I mean, I could do Skype and telephone, but I prefer to do videos. So, you know, you just tell me what kind of theme you want to work with, and I can send you a video with the reading, all right? And that gives you the opportunity to listen to it in your own time. Because a lot of times people, they want a reading and they come with their confusion and, you know, they sort of twist their emotions and it gets in the way of the reading. You know, I am a person that I'm super empathic, and a lot of us are. So sometimes, you know, it's hard to read a person when they're coming so confused. And it helps a lot when I can just sort of work with the energy myself and, you know, do it in a way that can help me and can help the person through the reading, okay? So just keep that in mind. Okay, Virgo, so let's begin. So right now in the center of the reading of your energy, the focus comes the Lovers. Okay, so we're talking here about relationships or a relationship. Next to this card, you have the Devil energy and the Judgment cards. So in the past, okay, this is something that happened to you in the last reading, Virgo. You had the Devil. And this card normally talks about either situations where we're being tempted, and sometimes that temptation comes from within ourselves, okay, where we're not quite sure or we're doubting our decision or we don't know what to do, and now something that we said no to, we want to try it again, okay? Sometimes it talks about addictions, attachments. I mean, there's all kinds of ways where this is, you know, represented by the energy of the Devil. But I'm going to say that here there is a combination of you, some of you, of course, some of you having an opportunity where someone wanted to either come back or wanted to reconnect, and it's also the emotional aspect of it, right? What is it still you're holding on to that it's making you feel in a particular way, where it's coming represented by the Five of Swords, which in tarot, the 5 talks about the energy of the Hierophant. How the Hierophant moves through the, you know, the deck, okay, through the minor arcanas. And in this case, because it's 5 of Swords, you can see the energy of vibration of this card is not very positive. So I feel that some of you are still struggling in releasing this person or this experience. And a lot of times this happens because we still are being very hard on ourselves. We're judging ourselves for falling into a trap or feeling victim of somebody else's intentions, okay? So this, as you could see, there is a woman here with 2 swords in the back. This is like about feeling betrayed, feeling hurt, taken advantage of. All of those energies that sometimes, you know, we feel, it's represented by this card. And as you can see, the person behind you is looking, they're having also their swords, right? But they're looking back. So some of you right now, I feel like you're sort of in this reality, this emotional reality where you're feeling so hurt that it doesn't allow you to see with the level of clarity that you would like to. Okay? And in a way, it's making you be this way, react this way with the Seven of Wands. The Seven talks about the energy of the Chariot. Okay? And Seven comes to bring equilibrium in things. It's when we take wisdom and experiences and, equilibrate them, find the harmony. So here I'm going to say that some of you in this dragon, you're sort of prepared. You're feeling guarded and prepared to like a war. And my question to you, Virgo, is, are you really feeling this way? Are you feeling the need to protect yourself in this way? Because we could see that you're ready, and you could either be ready, you could be responding like this to new people that are coming to you, as well as maybe in the back of your mind you're thinking, well, if this person comes around or comes again, I am ready to give him a piece of my mind. This time around, I am not going to fall in their little trap because now I know better. And there's nothing wrong, right, Virgo, with being in this type of energy, right? We are emotional beings, and, we're constantly vibrating all sorts of, concepts, okay? Our emotions is, the energy that we're moving through our organism. And our feelings are describing that type of energy. So it's very normal that we feel like this, sometimes. But you got to ask yourself, for how long, Virgo? How long are you going to remain like this? For how long are you going to torture yourself and blame yourself for falling once again in a situation like this? I know that many of you, Virgo, you've come a long way and you've learned a lot. So you've been having relationships where ultimately are sort of creating this emotional state. But remember, my friends, that everything that we become, every time we say, I now get it and I'm going to be like this from here on, just remember that eventually you're going to have the opportunity to demonstrate that knowledge. So if your attitude is negative, the experiences that you're going to create are going to have a double face. They're going to come up looking really attractive, when in reality behind it is the opportunity to show what you already know, what you already learned. So I am not here to tell you to change, but I'm just here to make you aware that if you want to stop recreating this type of situations where, you're being taken for granted and you're being surprised because someone comes with one, attitude and then they become something else, then you're going to have to start learning this, you have to start changing this energy and start sitting with yourself and being honest and say, okay, what do I have to learn here? What is it that I'm not learning, that I'm not getting, but I need to learn in order to stop making this thing from happening? And that, my friend, is one, you have to take responsibility for your actions, okay? And what that means is that no one can possess your heart. They cannot enter into your heart unless you open the door. So then the second thing to ask is, well, what am I doing that I am opening the door to these people that at first I think they are awesome? How is it that the universe creates these experiences where I can sometimes be tricked and deceived? Or is it that I am deceiving myself? Because a lot of times we have so many expectations, and when we find somebody along the path that we're attracted to, all of a sudden we put them and make them to be everything that we're sort of hoping to get or have. I had a situation about a couple of years ago with somebody that I met online, and it was right after I had broken up with my partner, and I was still very sore, even though our relationship had changed emotionally, I was still lingering and holding on to a lot of things. And this person comes, and I was very honest from the beginning, like, look, I'm not ready for that. I'm just ready for friendship. And I had put that in my profile. But we had an incredible magnetism from the beginning. And the exchange that this person and I had emotionally was awesome. So in a way, he was helping me heal and understand that, look, Sandra, maybe there are people in your life that don't get you, but there are people that will. Now, because I was not ready, things kind of unfolded in a way that, we distanced ourselves. And during 2 years, okay, in 2 years, we would connect and break away and reconnect and break away. But in all of those moments, I was starting to get to know this person a little better. And one of the decisions that I had made after my last relationship with my husband was that I was not going to ever, 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 ever rush again and letting somebody in my heart without letting them demonstrate their character. So as you could see, the opportunity with this guy was perfect to demonstrate that. And that's exactly what I did. The last time around, because you're probably wondering, what is the point of this? Well, the last time around, we reconnected, and again, the same connection was there, the same magnetism. But towards the end, this person all of a sudden, you guys, out of the blue, made a decision to quit. And this person had a perception of something that was not really true, but according to them, it was real. And that was the reason and the excuse they chose to finally walk away. And I gotta tell you, I was not hurt. I mean, I was kind of disappointed that he didn't give me the opportunity to explain myself, but I thought, why bother? Why waste my time and energy trying to explain something that this person cannot see? And if it's someone who really have the ability or the level of maturity to know better, they wouldn't have allowed that perception to cloud their understanding and make that decision. They would have asked first. But instead, they chose to cut me off, cut me loose. And that in that moment, I understood another aspect about valuing myself, about being able to create boundaries, healthy boundaries with other people, about not having to rush and give all of myself within a week or a month just because the energy is there. You know what I mean? So he taught me a lot of things and helped me understand a lot of things in that moment that opened my eye and helped me see that my last relationship with my husband, although it was a very awesome but tumultuous one, and I felt taken advantage and all the things that I felt was because I also participated. So it was very interesting, right? Because it is through experiences with people like this that we get to learn aspects about ourselves that we normally cannot. And yes, sometimes they take advantage, but remember, they also have things to learn, Just like you're learning, they're learning too. So in your case, Virgo, last time I said value, self-value is part of that cycle. In this one, something is being brought from that past into this cycle. And this is about, release the skin, just like the snake. Here you're being represented by cobra. Cobra and elephant. Very, very intuitive, evolved spirits. Okay? Somebody with a level of consciousness that you know exactly what I'm talking about. Okay? And in comparison to this person, you both are in a very different vibrational place, okay? This person that has certain beautiful qualities that you love about them, but they don't have that level of understanding that you do. So if you, for whatever reason, Virgo, this makes sense to you, and you are in a state of feeling overreactive, or that you need to protect yourself because somehow you're feeling a victim or you're feeling taken advantage of, my friend, release it, let it go. because in the direction that you're moving is in the energy of judgment. And judgment talks about once we trust 100% the universal forces and understand that everything that we want is available to us. But in order for us to attain it, we have to become that vibration. So if you want to be in a solid relationship where the person that you're with values you and supports you, you have to become that energy. You can't be this type of energy and expect to receive differently. So one of the things that you're being, supported and advised is first, get a handle on your emotions, Virgo. Are you feeling too emotional? Are you feeling too sensitive? Are you overreacting? Are you feeling moody? Because if that is the case, all you're doing is letting all of those emotions that has come up from these experiences to determine your state of being. So we have to start doing things that helps us feel better. Okay? And what are those things? Well, universal forces right now, Virgo, they're not supporting you in creating the perfect relationship. Okay? They're supporting you on the 10th house, sister sign, brother sign, Capricorn. Capricorn talks about what are the things, Virgo, that you're passionate about, that you can do to represent who you are as an individual being within the collective. Okay? So you have inspirations, you have dreams. What are you going to do about making them happen? What is the type of actions that you're going to take to make them happen? Because this is the moment right now where you're being supported to do that, not to the relationship. As a matter of fact, this time, leave it in the hands of God or the universe or whatever, or the Almighty, whatever you want to call it. Leave that in His hands. Your priority and where you should be investing your time and energy is in this, in your career, in fulfilling your career or your purpose. And if you don't know what that is, and then find it, because you're being guided here. There are energies that are helping you discover them, and you're being supported to make them happen. And I remember I did predictions. I've only done the first 3 months. I haven't done the rest of the year because I just felt like it was too soon. And I said that January for Virgo was going to be about what? Profession, career. Second was February, relationships and love. And it's looking out that way, at least from my readings. Okay? So it's funny because I asked the universe, okay, so what can you tell me about Virgo? What to expect in Virgo's path? And interesting enough, Virgo, the first card that came out was passion, Ace of Wands. Okay, look at this energy. This is all about expansion. It's about self-expression. It's about intuition, exploration, following ideas, intuition, checking, and observing the opportunities that come your way. Second card that came out, Virgo, was Four of Cups. Well, there you go. Now we get into the area of relationships, opportunities that come our way, but also finding clarity as to what it would feel like. Daydream about the energy of what it would feel like to be in the right relationship. It's very opposite or difficult to be in this energy and try to do this. You understand that? Five of Swords to the Four of Cups. As you could see, the energy of these cards are very different, aren't they? Okay? So, the next card that came out, Eight of Swords. Okay? And the Eight of Swords, when it comes right set up, it tells me, oh, you're trapped into your own emotions, your own insecurities, and, you cannot see beyond that. Well, it's coming upside down. So the universe is saying, look, when you release all of those emotional garbage that sometimes we bring from past experiences that represents unworthiness, insecurities, Then guess what happens? Our emotions open up. We feel liberated. We liberate ourselves. And from that place, look at that guy, how happy we are, right? And then what do you think the next three cards were? And I don't know why I picked that many cards. Let me see. It's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Isn't it interesting? Come with the number 7. The number of completion and the number of harmony in astrology. Okay? So, which is Libra. So the next three cards were Knight of Swords, Page of Cups, and then the Ace of Cups. Look at that, Virgo. Take a look. Take a look at that. So what happens is that once you're able to shed that skin and let go of the old and let go of all of these, emotions that sometimes get in the way of our prosperity, something will happen. And that is that someone will come to share with you how they feel. And this is where I feel like to some of you, I said that you may end up reconnecting with this person, right? But to some of you, it could be somebody new. But for that, we have to become that energy. And I'm sorry, my friends, but with this type of energies here in your head and in your foundation, impossible. And although you're moving in the right direction, because many of you are moving in the right direction, judgment, trust, faith, you're still not there completely. Of course, you guys, if this is not representing you, and then we don't need to question that. But if for whatever reason you come and you're saying, well, I've been waiting for a long time and nothing is happening in my life, ask yourself in what way you're saying those words. Because remember, in the way that we vibrate our emotions, it's what is going to determine the next experience that we're going to have. And this is where we really have to get clear. Because a lot of times, you may feel like, well, you said the same thing the last card. In the last reading, I'm sorry. You said the same thing the last week. Well, if I said the same thing and you're recognizing that, why is it that this energy is showing up here? The 5 of Swords with the 8 of Wands. Something is not changing in your attitude. And if it's not changing, it's impossible to expect that you're going to get other kind of information. People believe that, oh yeah, we're fortune tellers. We're not fortune tellers. We're able to perceive ahead of time things that normally other people may not, because they're not cultivating themselves in a way that allows them to see it. But you have every opportunity in the world to reshape your reality, to change it. And in the only way you could do that, it's by learning, information and learning different ways of how you can behave and act every day in your life. So here with the Cobra and the Elephant, these are your energy. Very awesome, beautiful, insightful energies. But with the Cobra, you're being asked to shed the skin, to let go of the old completely and just trust. Trust in the universe. Get a handle on your emotions, because when they're out of control, they do not allow you to see with clarity. And then prioritize. Change your priorities. And right now, your focus should be on creativity, creative endeavors, things that are going to help you feel fulfilled. And once again, Spirit is saying, Virgo, stand your ground. Be firm with your convictions. And don't run or anticipate, try to change things. What is the rush? Maybe some of you are coming here because you want to hear something that you don't know about. But I'm sorry, what the Spirit is saying here is, what's the rush? Instead of rushing and trying to manipulate things and situations and, to mold it your way, why not just create a vibration where you can just attract someone who's already like that? And these are things that have happened to me. Because once you start valuing yourself, especially in situations and opportunity where somebody comes and sort of, describe themselves are one of the, the perfect angel, the perfect human being, and everything is roses, and they try to warm up your ear, you start realizing, okay, that's wonderful. I love it. And if they invite you for coffee, you say, okay, let's have coffee in the coffee shop instead of, in your house. Oh, let's go and have a drink. Well, let's go to a bar and have a drink. And, you start doing things without opening the door of your heart and giving them the opportunity to demonstrate their attitude, who they are, not just by words, by their actions. And when you start noticing who they are, believe me, we're human beings that we think that we can, be the same person that we were a year ago, a day ago, or 10 years ago. We're constantly changing. And a lot of times we don't even see how we're doing it, but we are. And at the beginning of a connection, we can behave in the best of ways, and we can be, like I said, with our best suit. But eventually we start showing our true colors. And I have to say that with my husband, I knew from the beginning the type of character he was, but yet I gave him the opportunity. I opened myself up, and I decided that no matter what he would do, that I was going to love that person. Of course, later he started to showing his true colors, and eventually it ended up in a dead end. And yes, for a little bit, my physical nature, gave him a piece of my mind, and I felt all of these emotions that as a human being we can feel. But eventually, as I started to become aware of my behavior, of my own attitude, my own choices, I started to recognize, well, I let them in. He didn't force me. I let him in. So why did I do that? Why would I do that? So ultimately, it all translated in my self-worth. And that was, of course, a journey where I didn't realize it right away. And I did not just choose one experience. I've chose many. So if you come from that place where you've said, this has happened to me so many times, I'm sick of it. Well, the time in this reading is for you to maybe listen to something that you might have not in the past. So instead of being defensive or overreacting, just pay attention, because there's something within those lessons that you need to see. And that is not necessarily the person, it's more of you. Your expectations and how you relate to them as you go along, connecting with people like this. So as I said, you're learning your lesson, they're learning theirs. Their focus right now, okay, it's about understanding, they're realizing that they missed an opportunity. They had the wheel of fortune, they had the opportunity to have something really solid, and they missed it. They walked away from it. So they're realizing that. However, it's helping them, see certain things about their lives in a different way. Maybe value more of relationships. Maybe look into, the role of the parents, what they learned from their parents, because their universal force that is supporting these people right now is Cancer. And this is the 4th house. This is about family, home environment, and family. So this is someone who they may right now sort of going back to their childhood and what are the values they learned from their parents, a lot of, what they perceived in the behavior in the family dynamic, but they're getting it. They're going through a process of illumination. And this is something that doesn't happen overnight, right, Virgo? You, with all that you've learned, you haven't yet learned to sometimes understand certain things about yourself. So there are things that can't be rushed. So remember, this is Mickey Mouse, okay? And Mickey Mouse may not see everything all at once. I mean, we can't. So they're learning their lesson at their own time while you're learning yours. And the energy that can balance and harmonize the two of you is still coming upside down. If one thing is consistent in all of these readings, it's this energy. I'm not kidding you. Here is Mercury, your planet Virgo, once again coming upside down. So you get it, Virgo? You get it? Vibrationally, self-expression is not in equilibrium. And remember, when two people come together, they have to vibrate in a particular way to be a perfect match. And you both had an affinity at one moment, but now that affinity is going through certain cycles where it has to come to, another place of equilibrium. And this is either you don't want to communicate with them, you don't want to tell them how you feel, or they feel the same way. They're not responding. They don't want to open up. And that's why this is upside down. So that means that the timing is not right for the two of you. However, not until these cards change, the energy is not going to change within the reading, okay? So the elephant, one of the problems with the elephant is sometimes they may misunderstand the lesson that is being taught, okay? And the only way that the elephant can learn is through trusting. So, in conclusion, Virgo, one of the things that the Spirit is expecting of you or is asking of you is to release the old, shed the skin, okay, let go of the past, trust, and in the trusting, you will learn to have peace of mind, as well as pay attention and know when it's time to move and when it's not. Okay? Reorganize your priorities. As you follow your creativity, you will allow the universe to take care of business in this end, and you will find the answers to the things you need to do at this moment. With this peak that we took into the present, it could take from 5 to 7 days to weeks or months, okay, where you may have somebody come back, but hopefully the energy or your attitude will be different. At least no matter what happens, you're going in the right direction because you're going into judgment, which is a very positive thing. And then I'm going to end with this card. This is an oracle that I have that is called the Wisdom Keepers, and I love how they share their story, some of the lessons they've learned. And in this one in particular was about a boy that comes from a family of artists. This is someone who, they were, he comes from a tradition of very spiritual and artistic people. But when he was a little boy, he was stolen. And what happened was that his master, oh my God, put him, he was stolen and he was made a slave. And his master treated him like shit. But the way he dealt with that was to always comply and always, give more than he could. Ultimately, what happened was that he kept having more responsibilities until one day he just couldn't handle. He couldn't come up with, and deal with all the responsibilities. And you know what his master did? He beat the crap out of him and left him out to die. So a woman came and found him and took him to her house and started to nurture him and to heal him. And little by little, he started to get his, health back. And he started to work and help this woman, out of appreciation. But he was so wounded that he didn't want to be surrounded by people. So he would spend the little time that he would have by himself carving, because that was part of what he knew, like he would take these pieces of wood and he would carve. And one day the woman came and said, why don't you put your artwork in my shop? She had a little shop where she would sell her stuff. And he was just like, no way. He didn't want to be seen or to be noticed, especially after all the things that he had happened to him as a child. Well, she didn't listen to him, and she took his work and put his name and his artwork, and people started to buy him. Well, eventually he became very popular, and that little by little started to help him to open up to a point where he became self-employed by selling his artwork, and he started then to teach other people. And he started gaining some confidence and started to heal, right? So first, is the physical and then the emotional healing. Well, what are the gifts, to you, Virgo, in this reading? So this is what he says. I come when it is time to relax and for you to understand the importance of balancing your desires to serve the world and your need to enjoy your life. Do not be afraid to stand your ground. Set healthy boundaries or be generous with yourself. Your time and energy are precious. Sometimes saying no to the right thing can be more powerful than saying yes. I'm not asking that you rest now and then. I want you to relax deeply and fully with your whole being. When you are genuinely relaxed, you are free to work in harmony with your true nature and environment, and will have all the energy required to complete any task, no matter how great. The health of our communities and nations depend on people who have true inner resolve in balanced physical, emotional, and spiritual life. Isn't that the truth, Virgo? It's funny how everything gets synchronized. I just picked that card. I felt the impulse to pick it, and there you are. So be resolved. And some of the questions that you can ask yourself to bring this clarity is, ask yourself, what are you afraid of? Where or with whom do you find it most difficult to set a limit? Where are you not valuing yourself and your precious energy? What or who in your life exhausts you? Have you learned to enjoy your solitude? Are you getting enough time alone? What truly relaxes you? Do you keep others at a distance because of painful experiences? And I'm just going to leave there because I feel there are plenty of questions to ask yourself. And believe me, my friends, when we create a space or, a mood where we can relax ourselves and be honest with ourselves and answer all of these questions, I can assure you that this sort of energy of feeling guarded will change. And will change and transform into trust. And that's all the Spirit is really asking. And this time around is asking for you to just relax, trust, enjoy yourself, and focus on the things that are really right now there for you. Okay, my dearest Virgo, this is all I have for you. I feel like this is plenty, and this is like, quite a download. But I love the fact that, you've come a long way and you're still trying and you're still moving in the right direction. And all the conditions, right, are here to help you support, succeed. And if you remain loyal and determined to your needs, I can assure you that this cup will come. It's there. It's just a matter of whether you can vibrate and become the cup before it shows up in your life. So thank you so much for watching. I wish you the best of luck, and I'll see you next time.